All right. Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday, everyone.
Woo.
How are you, Angela? How was your day?
I'm okay. This has been a long week. I today was a little bit of a lighter day than yesterday, which was nice. But yeah, I had some reading time. I finished Sorcery and Small Magics today.
Ooh.
Um, and I did really like it, but I will warn you, it's not. I wouldn't say it's a cliffhanger, but we don't get the full story. There's definitely a
It's a
sequel.
series. Oh,
Sorry.
it's a series. I was really
So
low.
I really liked it, but I wouldn't say it was like wholly satisfying.
Hmm.
My advice for people would be maybe to wait for the rest of the series to come out before you try Sorcery and Small Magics, but
Yeah.
I did like it.
Well, I mean, I have it with my subscription box, and I was interested, so I was like, might as well get a pretty edition of something that I'm interested in reading anyway. So
Yeah. No, it was a good book. It was a very high quality book. Yeah. I hit the end and I was like, wait, it finished? What? I thought there was one more conversation we had to have. But
I guess
alas. Um,
I guess it's nice sometimes, with Goodreads that they are actually letting us know when it's a series when they know, because that way you can,
Storycraft is the same thing.
yeah.
I think it's hard with these
Oh, it's the
like fantasy romance series though,
trilogy.
because some of them are like some fantasy romance series will be like a series, but it's
Yeah,
still about different couples each book, and then some will just be like a typical
yeah,
series. So
no,
it's hard to tell exactly what type of series you're walking into sometimes.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. That one is written the Wilder Song trilogy, so there's not the second book
yeah,
is not announced, but it's written like as a trilogy, they say. So,
yeah, I've seen things pitched that way though that are a little bit more bookended than what I got in this one.
mhm.
I wish it had because the reader knows exactly what happens at the end, but the characters don't, and I find that to be frustrating. All right,
Mhm.
Maria. Hi, Maria. Hello.
Mhm.
We're
Hi,
hanging in. It's been a long week, but we're getting through it, right? Yeah, yeah, we're getting through
yeah, we are.
it.
At least I'm not doing the travel I was supposed to do tomorrow, so yay, I can
Oh,
work from home.
good.
And I can
Yay.
join the our D&D, our Friday D&D in person for people
Yay.
for context. We are playing D&D. Angela and I and a rest other
Yep.
friend.
I still need to prep D&D for Saturday, so
Mm.
after the sprints where I like when we finish Quiet Life in the Country, I think I'll end up prepping some D&D tonight maybe.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, we both clicked on it at the same time.
Yes.
There we go. What's up, Clementine? I failed. Oh no, that's okay. It's all right.
Yeah,
No worries.
I
Thanks for being okay with spoilers, Maria.
I was on chapter 8 this morning. Luckily, I had a test that was presented that I was giving my students this morning. So I did manage to read a little bit more, than I would at work today. Um, and then I came back, a little bit early and I did
I
finish.
read through chapter 10 yesterday,
Okay.
and took notes. And then tonight, like right before now, like I got home from work, like took a shower, reset myself, listened to a podcast, and then I
Yeah,
read some more. So now I'm at the beginning of chapter 14. So my
me too.
plan is to read chapter 14 during this first sprint, and then during the second sprint to try to finish it or read 15 and 16. So we can do predictions after the first sprint. I think that'll be
I
good.
think yes, our plan anyway was to let people,
Yeah.
join in and like not do that right at the beginning anyway.
Yep. And Michelle emailed me her predictions.
Oh,
So when we get to that first in between chatting time and we're
uh-huh.
giving our predictions for what we think the final
Sure.
solution will be, I'll pull up Michelle's and share that too if she's not here at that point. I think she's driving home from work right now.
I have to say, maybe it's because I don't read a lot of mysteries, but I don't have a prediction right now.
I have a few like general predictions, but every
Yeah.
time I have a prediction, the story is addressing it, which I
Yes.
think just means that the author is doing a good job at like leading
Yeah.
our thoughts in a
Yeah.
direction.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that's good. I do think there are going to be some twists that I don't anticipate.
Like the thing with the jewel, I was predicting all that and stuff, and I was
Yeah,
like, oh yeah,
same.
it's just like a couple, like maybe actors in there that would like one surprise in there a little
I,
bit.
I have one I have one twisty thing that I
Yeah.
think is going to be part of my prediction, one like
Oh,
sneaky thing.
okay.
But I'll wait to share it until
I
we
have
get
a
to our
fun
decision.
prediction, but that's wholly because that character bothers me a little bit. So I'm like, I have this prediction that would be fun, but I don't think it's gonna be. It doesn't make any sense. But like,
Yeah, I
uh,
haven't totally put all the pieces together for mine
yeah,
yet, but
no,
we'll figure it out. And
but
Maria, I feel you. This week has
yes,
been a lot, I think, for many of us, especially those of us who are like trying to be thoughtful about life. And I'm sorry that it's been a long week for you too. Um, oh, no, this is true. I like what
yeah.
you're
I,
thinking.
at the point that we're at, we still have a thought that she could be involved in something.
He's still a little bit mysterious.
But
Um,
maybe it's just something else unrelated, and she, about her past or something. Because
yeah.
she seemed to be the latest arrival in the band, right? She just been there
Yeah.
months.
And they just don't seem to know her very well, which I think is kind of peculiar.
Yeah, yeah. The
Yeah.
the one thing non-spoilery that I want to mention is the haddock stuff and all the fish jokes.
All of the fish puns, they made me laugh. I like them.
I do enjoy when a author, is self-awarely making like a name like this ludicrous and making it fun, right? Uh
Yeah. No, I
yeah,
really I really enjoy the tone of this book. Like it's very lighthearted, which I
yeah,
appreciate.
right?
We'll see if it's a true puzzle mystery or if it's just kind of a vibes
Yeah,
mystery
yeah.
pretty soon. But I do think that what this is great for is like it remains, I think, not a direct comparison to Agatha Christie, but like the spirit of it. I
Yeah.
think that if you like enjoy Agatha Christie novels, but you've read all or most of them and you're like, oh, whatever shall I
Yeah.
do? I think that this is a good recommendation for those people.
But not only Agatha Christie, but like Sherlock Holmes too, because like there is this one mention, right, of the Arthur Conan Doyle, because he says like, no, it's not deduction, it's abduction, right? And I've made like a lot of like like letters to the author, and he hasn't a certain author and stuff, so it's a tongue in cheek a little bit. Yeah, I agree, Maria. It's a little bit too slice of life for me, but honestly, with the length of the novel, it's really quick. So I think it's a very good like palate cleanser, like a very quick kind of read in between other stuff. So I don't think it bothers me too much. It's not for sure like a favorite or something that I would read all the time.
And it's certainly not like a thriller. Like it's not getting
No.
your heart up, right? You're not like, oh
No.
no, what's gonna happen to our characters? Like
Yeah.
I like everyone's gonna make it out okay. We know
Yeah. Yeah.
that. So,
Even
yeah,
the murderer is probably gonna make it. The only person who doesn't make it is the victim, right?
yeah. Or the victims.
Over victims.
All right. Well, why don't we jump into it? How long do we want this first sprint to be, Clementine? I think it would be okay if it were a little bit shorter since both of us are just reading chapter 14, but let me
Yeah,
know
I
what
think
you're thinking.
30 minutes could be nice because that way we get in the swing of things. It gets, other people to join, like Scorpio to join us, and then we can,
Sounds good. All right. I'm going to go through the hassle of getting my screen share figured out. There we go. All righty. Good luck. Happy reading. We will see you guys in 30 minutes.
happy reading. Hello, hello. The cat did
Did
shock
it
me a
bring
little. It did. It did scare me a little bit, just because I was not expecting it.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. It is theory time.
Yes.
Clementine, do you want to go first, or do you want me to lay out my theories first?
I can go first because I'm not. My theories are not
Okay, we'll
fleshed
let you
out.
go, then I'll go. Then we'll call out what Scorpio is thinking in the chat, and then we'll look at what Michelle emailed me, and that I think will hit everything.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, what are you thinking, Clementine?
So I'm thinking honestly that the first and the second murder are actually connected. And they are from someone from the house, from like the Sedan kind of, household kind of thing. They're connected with that, and they're the ones who have embezzled the money, obviously, and that this first guy, like did that. Um, and after that, the whole thieving and all that, I don't know why, but
Everyone wants to steal from this like impoverished family.
yeah, which is also
Not
weird.
impoverished,
So
but they like,
so it makes
yeah.
me think that in some ways maybe the person who was embezzling somehow also like pulled that out information that got out to the world or something. So maybe the embezzler is part of this gang that is like how they mentioned like the lady, what's her name, the new lady in the band, right? She mentioned the
Sylvia
fact,
or Olive.
yeah, Olive. She mentioned that there were like cautious because they were in this place that was another gang's territory or something. So I'm
Mm.
thinking then the embezzler is the other territory kind of thing, right? Um, and that's why also when he saw the person, he was like, "Oh, it's another embezzler," right? It was like a little bit more. But like as to who it is, I have no idea right now. I have this like one idea which makes no sense. Mr. Jenkins, just because he's here all the time and he seems like very
He knows
obsequious.
everything.
The other one that was like my previous from like chapter 2 onwards or something is the constable, just because you had this weird reaction to the body at first and all those weird reactions to it. Uh, but I'm assuming it's someone from the household, but I don't know.
Cool. All right. I like those predictions. Good predictions. I think I'm thinking very similarly to you.
Mm-hmm.
The underpinning of what I think is going on
Yeah.
is that either, I don't know which one, but either father set in or son set in is the one embezzling, is what
Is
I
the
think. I think
embezzling?
they're embezzling from their own company. And I think that when Pickering went to set in to talk about the embezzling, I think that either it's the father embezzling and he like panicked, or he like figured out that it was his son doing it and like confronted his son. And I
Mm,
think that son set in is the one who killed Pickering, because he was at the bar with his cricket friends, right? Teddy was
sure.
there. So I think
Yeah.
that Teddy killed Pickering. Um, and now I don't know who killed Holloway, but
Uh-huh.
I think that the set-ins were behind the theft of the jewel, because I think that I think young Seddon wants to cry off the marriage. I don't think that he wants to get married to the Farley Stroud's daughter. So I think that he thinks that if their family goes into financial ruin, right? Like if this gem disappears and all of
Uh,
a sudden they are financially ruined because they owe all of this money, he can cry off of the marriage super easily. And also
sure.
he can fence the gem to like get to cover up his embezzling, right?
Oh
They
no,
can
wait.
sell the gem to get an influx of cash.
I have a crazy idea. Cause like
Okay.
The Captain Summers went out of the blue, right? What if Captain
Mhm.
Summers and the Lady Shroud like daughter had like something? And so the
Well,
daughter's like, I don't want to get married to Seddon, and she was the one who was like, you should like steal the jewel thing.
I feel like we haven't seen the daughter
I
enough
know.
Yeah.
I know, but like the problem is there was this Captain Summers that was like added in for me that was weird with no connection too much, and that had this also this talk of like, oh, I'm trying to get this lady to marry and all that, right?
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's a good thought. I think um yeah, let me go through the rest and then we'll add some more stuff. So that's what I think is going on with Seddon and the Jewels.
Mm-hmm.
I'm my problem with trying to figure out who killed Holloway is there are just too many people who went in and out of that library. And
Oh
what I'm
yeah.
thinking is I'm wondering if there was a way, because they said that the maid found him when she went into like clean and tidy things. I'm wondering if his body was like sort of hidden, right? Not like super hidden, but like enough to where you could walk through the room without noticing it. And I wonder if he was killed earlier in the night than we think he was, right? Like if he was killed and still all of these in and outs were happening. What I haven't done, I think the smart thing to do would be to make, I just haven't had time. I think the smart thing to do would be to make a timeline of who went in and out of the library
I
when.
don't think
Because
we
I
have
think
a
that there's some I don't think we have enough information, but I think there's some
yeah.
funniness with the order of who went in and out
Yeah.
that would reveal some of this stuff. Okay, here are my like shot in the dark. These could be real crazy. One, I think Daisy might be involved.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Daisy
something's up
or
with Daisy. I think maybe Daisy helped Seddon kill Pickering, and like maybe Seddon and Daisy are gonna run off together. I don't know, but I think there's something with Daisy. That's
yeah, but
sneaky
Daisy's been
prediction
like
one.
flirting
In the
for
back,
a lot with
flirting with everybody, but like weirdly attached to it. Yeah. No, it's weird. Okay, I
no,
already
she's
said the
flirting
body
with
thing and the
Mr.
timeline
Dunn.
thing. Sorry.
She's flirting with Mr. Dunn though, this band guy. So
Yeah,
I
and she's been flirting, and she like went on a walk with whoever, right? Like she's been all over the place. So, oh, there was one other thing. What was my other thing? Oh, I also think there's a possibility that the jewel they found, like the
it's
jewel
not.
that Summers has, is a fake, and that
Uh-huh.
there's another real jewel somewhere. Um, but that's also a shot in the dark. All right. Do you want to go through some of the chat stuff, and I'll look up what Michelle sent to me?
Sure. That's fair. Okay, so Scorpio saying, I believe Richmond may have done it. He was unaccounted for a period of time. I'm assuming that's for the Grange
Or
murder,
Holloway?
right?
Yeah.
The Holloway. I have no clue who committed the first murder. However, I believe the second was committed by one of the musicians. I mean, crime of opportunity. Yeah, it could be. I mean, with the thieving, it was, something there. I haven't read any.
I also think it's Teddy, Michelle. We are on the same team. Sorry, I just read ahead. I read ahead in the chat, not in the.
I
Sorry.
haven't read any of the books in a week. I forgot some of the characters' name. Yeah, I know. I mean, I just read it now, but like the characters, like for example, there's like the Sergeant Hancock and then the Haddock. So like they're really, like close names, some of them. Maria is saying that she really likes the inspector. Yeah, he was growing on me. When we started to really have him on the page, he's funny. I can
Especially
definitely
how he deals with Lady Hardcastle and Flo. Like he just
yeah.
kind of goes along with
No,
their thing.
I
Like,
can definitely see the setup for the rest of the books that he involves them in the rest of the, mysteries, and that's how, and he becomes like a character in its own thing. Um, I thought it was Teddy. Okay.
yeah. Michelle and I have very, very similar thoughts.
To be honest,
Michelle, this is what Michelle sent me earlier. Sorry, go ahead.
no, go ahead.
Um,
I can.
She said, my guess for the cricketer killer is Teddy. I think he has a secret gambling addiction and possibly throwing games. He was embezzling to cover his losses, thinking his father would die before finding out, and killed the guy, meaning killed Pickering, so he wouldn't be ruined. He may have notified someone, maybe a bookie, about his engagement, and they recognized the name and decided to have him steal it. So, like, basically, Seddon's being blackmailed in addition to
Mm,
killing in order to keep his
I
secret
see.
safe.
So
Yeah.
the one thing, right, that could have happened, is that the first and the second murder are kind of related but not, is that, Teddy, like, if Michelle's like theory is correct, right? Teddy talked to the bookkeeper and everything, which come to light the fact that there was this jewel, and that way, there was this kind of because it seems to me that there was like a couple of people who tried to steal the jewels, so which could be the two different gangs, right?
And Sutton would also, like, hypothetically said it, like, Teddy would know where the jewel was kept.
Yes.
That's
Yeah,
something
yeah.
that I had written down
Yeah.
for, like,
So that
investigation
could be like the
director
other party
too.
compared to the
So I think that
band,
makes
and
sense.
whoever is part of this bookkeeping, like, like local gang there killed the other. So for this one, I would say either Daisy or Jenkins. I could see them be part of this like local,
Yeah, I do think
gang
that there's
thing.
someone, like,
Yeah.
external that's, like,
Mm-hmm.
involved in this somehow. I
There
think
is.
Daisy makes sense. I think Jenkins, like, kind of makes sense. There's another maid that Daisy was taught, like, maybe Dora could, like, kind of be involved somewhere. Maybe
Mm-mm.
there was another maid that was
Yeah.
involved that was, like, talking to Daisy once. So, like, I don't know. I think there's someone below stairs who has something to do with something.
So I think my main problem for not thinking that Teddy could be the culprit for the first murder is that for me I haven't seen him enough, right? And I really don't know, like we if it were like for a gambling or whatever, debts that he had or anything like that, we don't know any of those things, right? So it's really like,
Well, I
you
think
know.
something that kind of pointed me, and the gambling thing is all Michelle. I'm not sure about justification for that, but the thing that kind of continued to point me in Teddy's direction was Lady Hardcastle saying out loud, like, "Yeah, we should really figure out what Teddy was doing that night." And then they, like, never ended up talking about it. They talked about the night of the party with
Mhm.
Teddy, but he, like, went to play cricket with his friends, not cricket, croquet with his friends outside after the party or something, which I thought was kind of
Mhm.
interesting. Like, he's the only one we've heard that from. We haven't heard that corroborated by anybody. But, like, okay, so she said several times, like, "Oh, we should really see what Teddy was doing," and then they haven't really talked to Teddy, I think, enough.
Mhm.
So yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, so interesting. This is so fun. I really like. I like this. I'm having
So
a good time.
one thing, Angela, if I'm asking you to repeat, for me, you're cut off at some points. So
Oh no. What do you need me to repeat the whole
no,
thing of what I
no,
said or
I
just
I
part of
think I haven't missed anything, but
Okay.
it's cutting off like one word and then maybe like just getting some delay, or I don't know exactly. It's a little weird.
Really
I
strange.
don't
I'll
know
try to
for
check my internet connection, but there might not be much that I can do.
I don't know for others on the online if it's okay with them for our both our connections actually. But yeah.
Yeah. Too many cozies.
That's where I got gambling. Often there's some reason nothing about. Yeah, no, and I do agree. I not even in cozies, just in like a mystery or something like a secret debt, gambling addiction, alcohol, or it's something, right? There's usually something like that, and it's
Yeah.
somehow in those also like more historical kind of plots. It's also really a lot of there's this this young couple that's getting engaged, and there's something fishy about like the fiance usually, right?
Yeah.
Be it like
Yeah.
a mistress or like like some debts or something like that.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Well,
we
on
do
that
like
note,
yes.
should we now here's the big question.
Yeah.
Do we want to just read 15 or yeah, just read 15 and then just read 16, or do we just want to finish it and then um
Okay,
like
so
see?
with where we are right now, it seems like 16 is going to be the big reveal, and we're going to get more clues in 15, but not all the way, right?
Right.
Don't know.
Um so
We could.
I'm having this problem with my Kindle app where like it doesn't want to connect to my audiobook all the time. It
Uh,
wants to like use the assistive reader, which is really annoying. I'm
yeah.
trying to see how much time. Okay. So at my listening speed, it will only take me 23 minutes to completely finish 15 and 16. I'm not saying that we should only read for 23 minutes. That's not what I'm saying at all.
Yeah.
Um, we could do, I think we could either do half an hour, and do like chapter 15 and chapter 16, or we could do like maybe a 45-minute and just do both of them at once.
What do people think in the chat? Let us know, Michelle. I mean, I know
I think
Maria's
Michelle and
played.
Scorpio. Yeah.
Michelle and Scorpio can
Yeah.
tell us what they'd prefer to do. I mean, what I did
Personally,
last what I did in the
go
last
ahead.
sprint is that I read 14, but when I was finished, I just switched to another book, right? So I'm totally fine with either of those, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I think I'm kind of leaning towards us just reading both of them because I feel like we've had the like, what are our guesses discussion. Like, I feel like we've done the fun
Yeah.
thing. Um,
Hmm.
okay, Michelle, don't say anything else. Shh. No more
Okay,
Michelle.
backwards. That doesn't
Don't tell
really
us anything. I
matter,
don't want
but
to
just don't
know.
want to know. Okay, so but that does answer my question because they do solve one part and then the other part. So let's
Yeah.
just read the both
And
chapters.
that's what Scorpio is
And
saying too.
yeah,
45 minutes. Let's finish both chapters. It's going to be awesome. Um, alrighty. Alrighty, friends. Here you go. Good luck. Happy reading. Have fun. May
happy.
all of your predictions be correct.
Hello. I fully jumped this time.
Hello. So, anyone watching, go ahead and let us know what your progress was during the sprint. It seems like we have a couple of people watching who probably do not know what's going on. So, just a quick update for folks. We did a little buddy read with Scorpio and Michelle and Maria, and we just finished it. We read A Quiet Life in the Country. So, full disclosure, we are about to spoil the end of that book. So if that's something that you're not open to, no shade, no problem. But yeah, so we just finished, and our spoiler discussion will be done here in just a few minutes. So you can always come back if you feel attached to that. So, Clementine,
We don't have to give her.
Michelle, and you knew that.
We don't have to give her $20. That's
No.
why.
Yeah. I finished it 2 Scorpio. I rated it a 3.5. But yeah, so I was pleased with the ending. I had a good time. It did seem a little bit out of the blue. So, but I was right that it was a set-in. So I'm happy about that.
Yeah, when we were discussing about theories, right? I was thinking, hey, because we talked about the son or the father, and I was like, in my mind, there could be also
But what about the mom?
yeah, the mom, and then I was like, huh, no, I mean she's like this.
I guess my just sexist self was like, oh yeah, like a lady's gonna strangle him with her scarf. I actually thought that. I was like, it could have been I thought it might be Daisy, right?
Now that you're saying this, I should have felt that it was like misdirection when we saw the first body, right? And they were saying like the constable was saying, "Oh, it had to be a man because no woman would have the strength, right?"
Yeah.
And I was like, I should have
It did seem like Teddy was
remembered that.
kind of helping her out, so I gave myself like half credit for that part. But yeah. Yes, Maria.
Yes.
So it was Ida. Surprise.
Yeah.
Crazy.
How is she strong enough to lift him and hoist him up? Yeah, they mentioned this like one piece that's missing in something that they used to hoist him up, but I don't know what it was.
Yeah, so it seems like there's like some sort of display or something in their
Yeah.
house. That when she took him with the hand cart, she also took that, and it helped her to like boost him up high enough. I don't know. I felt that was a little bit.
And there were no details,
No details about that. But I
tripod thing.
yeah, whatever. It's mentioned at the end, and I guess it was mentioned earlier, and I just didn't catch it. But yeah, no, I had a good time, and I think my favorite part about this experience was just the experience of getting like to read it with you all. I'm not sure that another genre will have the same sort of impact because we won't really have this like mystery at the end to discuss. But I had so much fun. I felt like this was a really cool, fun experiment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You had to get him on the cart. That weight. She was inactive. Yeah, I don't know, but also we're not really given as a physicist, right? I would like the details, right? I would like them to tell me how heavy the victim was, right? How heavy, like how big were the different characters, and like the woman, right? We're not told how tall she is or anything compared to, right? So we don't know. Maybe the first victim was a very very small guy, right?
I do think there was some mention of how large he was, just like in the context of his cricket team. But
no,
I don't know. I was happy with the kind of the logistics of the end. I also thought like it was interesting that Teddy was stepping in to like assist his mom. Yeah. Scorpio, I do think I'm going to continue with the series. I think I'm going to continue in kind of a when I get bored, I'll pick it up sort of a way. And I don't know if we decided we enjoyed this, I would be open to reading some more together.
Yeah, the physicist in me says the same, Michelle. Not without help, but like, but it would be the same also if it was like a smaller, if it was like an average, man with respect to the burly kind of victim, I would have the same thing, like not with an accomplice, right? Obviously.
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
and even like the same height or whatever, unless you're like a weightlifter, it's not like you can lift someone up really easily, right? That would be your same weight. Anyway, logistics aside, I don't know if I would continue as much as I had fun. Like there were a few things that really, I mean, even if they were funny, right? The whole like cozy or like Lady Hardcastle being like, very quirky and everything. It was funny, but I'm pretty sure if I start to read like a second one and then the third one, I would get just increasingly just annoyed at it being, always this kind of quirky kind of thing. I thought for
I
me
think
the
that would be
ending
fine with me. Yeah. Sorry.
I think the ending for me was really rushed, weird, having her, like in this coma kind of thing. Uh, it was just
It's
for
the
effect.
drama.
I
The
know. I'm not, but I'm not.
drama.
Okay, side note, one, I'm hypercritical when I read, right? Usually. And two, also like mystery is not my usual genre, so I tend to be hypercritical for those, right? I'm sure like when I read a fantasy romance, I'm a lot less critical because I know the flaws of the genre and I just enjoy some parts of that. And I'm totally, I totally understand also that it is not my cup of tea. So I had fun doing that. Not saying that I would never continue, um, but I would
I
need to
think
really be in the mood.
I think I wouldn't have as much fun with these books if I wasn't like sitting and taking notes while reading it.
Mm.
I think that if I were just listening to this passively as an audiobook, I probably would have gotten lost in all of the characters pretty easily. That tends to happen to me with mysteries. So I think that if I read any more from this series, I'll probably do it later, like during sprints, even
Mm,
like sometime where I'm like sitting down and intentionally reading and um, like kind of making myself write things down and like really pay attention.
yeah,
Um, yeah,
when I'm lump something, but I have a feeling cozy mysteries are my genre either. Well,
yeah.
Maria, we
Maybe in
usually
a
have
few
the same.
months we can find another unrelated cozy to introduce you to, Maria. Maybe we can find something else.
I didn't like that she treats Flo like crap at times. Yeah, I know.
I
But
didn't really notice that.
she
Like
always
it seemed to
treats.
be like she and Flo were, I don't know, giving it
No,
to each other kind of as
I
good as
think
they
the
could.
problem for me, I agree with Michelle. It keeps you keep being told that they are equal, that they are a partnership, that they are stuff. But she is our servant. She's making the food, she's transporting the tea. She's like, oof.
It didn't bother me at all. Didn't
I
even
mean,
think
it's in
about it.
it didn't bother me in the sense that it is in the times, and she is the lady's maid. What bothered me was them saying that they were equal when they clearly are not equal, right? Um, and I even if it whatever they were up to before in China and India and all those things, it seemed also that she does rely on her just doing stuff and doing the
I
help.
think they care about each other, right?
Oh no, I'm not saying that they don't care about each other. What I'm saying is I keep being told something but you're shown something else, I'm like, just you have to admit that yes, you might be really friends, but also you're still the servants, right? There's still something in there.
I mean, I don't think that they discount that necessarily. I mean, she never really takes a stance where she's not a servant. Like I don't know. I don't think were the words. Did she ever say, "Oh, you are my equal partner"? Flo, we are exactly the same.
Well,
Like I
at
don't
some
think that's ever
point,
said.
no, at some point, like, I forget when, I think it might be with the inspector, when he says to be, oh, she's your lady's maid, and she's like, no, not really. And I'm like, yes, she is.
But also they're friends. I don't know. I didn't have a problem with it at all.
Definitely not counting it out yet. I've had a string of bad reads. No.
Well, now that we've spoiled it for you, Maria, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah. Yeah. It is a quick
So what did
read,
you
though.
start? Oh, what did you start reading after you finished, Clementine?
I did not start reading. I'm trying to
Oh, okay.
finish another book, actually.
Yeah, I meant like, what are
Yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
picking up after?
I'm
Yeah.
like 50, 60 pages in from the end. This is The Master of Jinn. So it has a mystery element too, for some reason, but it is a
Lots
fantasy,
of
right?
play today.
Um, I really procrastinated on reading this book for no reason, actually, because I read it has a bunch of novellas in the world before this novel, full novel book, and I read the novellas like 2 years ago or something, and I really enjoyed the world, the setting, like it's set in beginning of 20th century Cairo, like Egypt, right? And you're set in the world, so it does seem like our world, but somehow there were like these jinns that came back in full force and are basically living with them, and have like all the good things that you know about jinns. They're very they trick you into giving away like a contract and doing things, right? They're
Mhm.
very like very much tricksters. And you also have angels in this world, but they're like the angels are like made of mechanical parts. So it's a very
Mhm.
interesting like fantasy steampunk kind of world. And I really love the setup that it's not, in a Western setting for once also. And the narrator is really good. It is on voices kind of narrator. She does seem to have an accent that, and with her name, it does seem to come from this region of the world. I don't know if she's Egyptian itself, but I really enjoyed that, and I read it pretty quickly. I think I started 3 days ago or stuff. So, what did you start
Good, good.
reading?
I know there's a little novella before Master of Jinn, right? Is it the tram car or something? Did you read
There's
that one?
actually two.
Okay.
Cause yeah, there's the mystery of a tram car. There's another one, which is like the first one. So also like there's some of them that are like essentially like showing the world. Sorry, I'm trying to look on Goodreads because I forgot the name. There's a Dead Gin in Cairo is the very first one, and that one I highly recommend reading it before you read this novel. Because you follow the main character that you will follow in this one, essentially, right? Which is Fatma, which is like the one of the first kind of women, in the police force, right there. um well, I mean, the special police force for like magical entities and objects and stuff, right? um and it's also like the attention in Cairo, I think, is like 90, 100 pages, something like that. But like the mystery was very compelling. I didn't see it coming. It was really, really nice, like the whole thing. And it really set up the world completely so well. And after that, oh yeah, there's two other novellas actually. There's the one which was called The Angel of Khan el Khalili, and the other one which is The Haunting of Tramcar 015. So all of them are kind of setting up different kind of things in the world. You see, with the first one, you're introduced with the jinns, then you're introduced to the angels, and a little bit more to the politics because there is a little bit more politics. But it's really interesting because, like, you're set up in this world as you have this person that arrives, kills off a bunch of people, and starts to say with a mask, I am Al Jahiz, which is like this essentially this prophet 20, 30 years ago that was the one that opened the portal for the jinns to come in, essentially. And then after a while, he disappeared. but he seemed to be very mysterious, have a lot of powers and everything. And so she's tasked, of course, to figure out what happens because, like, she's very skeptical and she doesn't believe that it is Al Jahiz. She thinks it's an imposter, but she has to figure out what's happening. So anyway, yeah.
Fun. Yeah,
What
I
have you?
started, and I'm just going to do some Dungeons and Dragons preparation
Mm-hmm.
in our next several sprints. But I started reading. One of my colleagues recommended like a contemporary romance novel to me. It's called A Love Catastrophe, and it's catastrophe, so it's about a woman who takes care of cats. So I love a good pun. I do not think this book is good so far. I do not
Okay.
think I'm going to finish it.
Aw.
I'm only 6% in, but like the tone is not jiving with me.
Uh,
It's a Helena Hunting, and I knew that Helena Hunting is not usually my jam. Um, but the last book that this colleague recommended to me was really a hit for me. I really liked it, so I wanted to give this one a shot. Yeah.
so in the chat, let us know if you've read anything else. Dame Agatha Christie and Sir Arthur Conan Doyle are the masters and worth reading. Yeah, yeah, I agree. I did love Conan Doyle back in high school. I need to reread some stories. Yeah, I same, Maria. I think I read like for example, the Hound of the Baskervilles or something like this when I was in middle school or high school, I think. It was back in French, and I remember, I think it was way back, but when I was in university, I actually got it in English and I read it in English for the first time, and the, I really liked it. But yeah,
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
haven't read all of
those are short enough that we could just do like a short story, like one of the
them.
Sherlock Holmes stories, if we wanted to one evening.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Fun, exciting.
yeah,
Well, Clementine, shall we sprint?
yeah. We've been talking for a while, so let's do sprint. I feel like 45
Awesome.
minutes is good. I'm probably not going to be able to finish. I'm probably going to be just there, but that's fine.
Well, that means if we do one more after that, if we feel like we still have the
Yes.
energy, then we can have a celebratory sprint afterward. Yeah, I'll
Yes.
be working on, since I'm working on Dungeons and Dragons prep, I probably will not make any reading progress. I am going to have to disappear for a moment to go gather all of my materials.
Yes.
But yeah, okay, so we are about to start, y'all. We are going to start a 45-minute sprint, and we will see you at the end. Good luck.
Good luck.
Howdy, y'all.
Hi.
How
Sorry,
do you do?
I'm in the middle of like the final big important scene in this book, and it's a lot more fun than I thought it would be. It's also it's a very high stakes, like, you know, end of the world thing, but somehow also there is some levity and stuff. Like, it's fun.
Very fun.
Anyway.
If you're listening, tell us how you did. Tell us about your progress. I was able to take notes on the first two scenes of our one shot and plan out the first fight. Um, and I'm started on the third scene. So I feel very accomplished. I've made some progress.
Me too, because I read 40 pages and I
Woo!
missed the epilogue, so I have 30 pages left, I think, now. So I
Nice.
should be able to finish it with the next sprint.
Yay! And then we get to have a celebration.
Yay.
Michelle read 30 pages. Woo!
Nice.
Go, Michelle. And Maria's done with work. Yay!
We're happy.
Quite happy. Absolutely.
So I'm reading a Master of Jin. Maybe I should actually show the figure because it's quite pretty. Also, it does show the fantasy kind of steampunk also element with the clock work kind of gears and stuff. It's a really interesting fantasy with some mystery element in there. Set in Egypt, right? So it's called a Master of Jin.
Yes. Oh, so fun. Yes, we are celebrating Maria. Woohoo! Awesome.
Yes.
Yeah, I feel so this one shot was sold to me as like a silly fun time. And it is a little bit of a silly fun time, but also it's just like a very typical one shot, which is
Mm.
totally fine. Like that is
Yeah.
okay. I feel as though I might have oversold the silly fun time to folks, but you know, it will survive. We'll have a good time. We'll play
Okay.
D&D. Oh, Atlas is visible. Atlas decided just to crawl behind my back and just hang out behind me. So yes, he's very cute though. He's sleepy.
Yeah. Very cute. Yes.
Oh, goodness
Really.
gracious. Ooh, Scorpio says she's going to start Archer's Voice by Mia Sheridan in the next one. I have read a few Mia Sheridans in the past. I think I read The Wish Collector and liked it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I've heard that you should have some tissues on hand for Archer's Voice, maybe? Question mark. Hi, Atlas. And he's always cute. Yeah, he is. He is.
I mean, I certainly think so, but I'm biased.
Yeah.
So.
You know, but maybe I think Maria and Scorpio don't know because they've never seen him in person, but he will bark at you, and you will be like, at first, like, what's happening? And it's actually when you stop petting him because he wants to be
If you
pet
try to
again.
walk away, he's like, no, come back.
So
You're
it's like,
supposed to be petting me.
it's this like quiet kind of one bark like that just to tell you, hey, I'm here. I want more.
Yes.
I hope I am able to have a good cry. Well,
It's good.
if it is your plan.
Good. Yes.
I wouldn't dare
I
stop
honestly feel
petting
like
him.
I need a good cry. Oh, winter. Yes. Maria, you and he would be best friends then. He really, really, especially if you would just sit in a room with me and pet him while he stares at me. That is peak Atlas joy.
Definitely.
Oh goodness.
You were saying something for the bad
Oh
stuff.
yeah. I need to cry. I need a good I need a good release of emotion this
Uh-huh.
week. Yeah.
Well,
Yes.
Maria agrees with that. Yes.
Yes. So I guess if anyone has crying book recommendations, put them in the chat. Books that made you cry. I cry often in books, but I'm having trouble thinking of specific ones that I've cried at recently.
I also cry often in books, but I think I haven't cried a lot ever since. I think the last one I had a good cry was the ending the Greatcoat series that I buddy read with Maria. Um and that one is very emotional for sure. But I
Yes.
don't remember after that really, crying a bit. I guess I've been reading more fun-ish books or like romances, but like yeah, I don't I
Yeah,
mean
I haven't cried too much recently while reading books, which is kind of sad. I really need a good one.
The
The Green
Green
Mile.
Mile. I cried at works. Yeah. Yeah. I mean I haven't read the book, but I've seen the movie and I cried like the last, I don't know, 30 minutes of that movie because I knew what was coming. uh,
Absolutely.
I cry lots
Even
for
Legends and
Children.
Lattes? Wow, Maria.
Aw. No, but
Was it
sometimes
just so beautiful?
yeah, sometimes it's just like cuteness. I remember when I read not the sequel, but when I read, A Strange and Stubborn Endurance, I actually cried when
Oh, I
he
cried during that one. Yeah.
yeah, oh yeah, that one
Oh,
is
yeah.
like but like I cried even like at the end when they he had his like time and he started to really love his husband and all those things because I was like with all the things that happened to him and now he has his happy ending, right? you know.
Yeah. Oh, the last one that made me cry, y'all. I think I talked about this on Sprints maybe a couple of months ago, but Todek and the Princess, which is the novella that you should read after you read A Taste of Golden Iron. My
Mhm.
God, I cried the whole way through. Maybe I should just reread that book and give myself a good cry.
Listen, for a book with low stakes, the emotional stakes were high.
Even for
Yeah,
Legends and Lattes. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I agree. I agree. I
Yes.
sobbed at that one. Yeah, I think the only reason I didn't sob at Legends and Lattes was because I was in a personally very emotional place. So it was more a cozy kind of time, and so I
Mm,
did not feel, at that. But I would suspect if I'd read it at another time, I would have cried. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. I've cried a lot. One that, like, I just remember sitting and just like staring into space and crying while listening to the audiobook was The Maid. And I know that that one does not hit for everybody, but
hmm
it hit for me. And I cried at the end of that book quite a
hmm
lot.
hmm
Yeah.
I would recommend The Night of Many Endings by Melissa Payne. If He Had Been With Me by Laura Nolan. You'd Be Home by Now by Kathleen Glasgow. Well, I haven't heard of any of these. Thank you,
Yes, these
Scorpio.
are totally new to me.
Um, we love new recommendations. That's always good. Oh no, I guess the latest books I cried for was my reread of the Green Creek series. I do
That makes
admit I usually don't cry as much on a reread, but I still, cried a little bit. But like the first time I read the series, I really cried like full tears for forever, right? And I couldn't stop myself.
sense.
Um, so
I
yeah.
didn't cry during the Briar Club, but back when I read The Rose Code a few years ago, I cried quite a lot. That's a fabulous book. Um, yeah.
And you have Maria supporting your reread, so.
I know. I just know it would be painful, but also beautiful. Oh,
Yep, cried at Green Creek too. I'm generous with my tears. Me too. I mean, I cried at some Disney movies. I cry pretty easily, right? um, I laugh also easily. So you might have seen me during the sprints actually laughing at some parts and stuff because I do laugh very easily too.
good. Good. Oh, goodness gracious, y'all. I need a good cry that has nothing to do with the real world and has everything to do just with a with the
Yeah.
fictional world. But I also kind of sometimes the best cries are the ones that like come up on you organically, you know? Like I
Oh,
think just like within the next week I'm gonna be reading a book and find myself crying and I'll be like, aha, I
uh-huh.
found my catharsis.
I mean, there's the. Have you read Matt Haig before?
I tried the Midnight
Okay.
Library and did not like it.
It's not his best. I think I preferred the Humans because it was fun in terms of like the this alien that comes in, this world, and he's tasked with like basically removing this special idea that this mathematician had, right? Um, because it would advance the our world very much and too much, and they would discover the aliens, right? So they're tasked with removing that from their minds, and he's essentially infiltrating like the home. But it's like this weird, like philosophical also idea, of course, how are you, what makes you human, right? Because he obviously doesn't, he knows the facts, but he doesn't know anything about being human, right? And so he asks like, why are you doing this, why are you, like simple things, and he's like, and he finally realizes that how he lived before was not, the same way, and stuff, and he starts to like his, his life as a human. But it is, I mean, some people don't like his books because it's true, the messaging is very spot on, right? It's not like from the beginning you won't know what the message is. And some people don't like it because it's like you're wanting to make me feel this way and make me push in this direction, and I don't like it, right? But I really like the Human, and I did have a little bit of a cry, so uh
Michelle, the whole point of finding a fictional cry is that it's not a real world
yeah.
cry. I don't
Yeah.
want to cry
No.
about real dogs.
Michelle,
I want to cry about
you're
characters.
gonna be put in timeout if that continues, you know? We don't want to
No.
put anyone in timeout, but please,
So
Michelle.
for anyone listening, go donate to Barks, great organization, but don't make me read anything from Barks that is going to make me cry.
Mhm,
No thanks.
mhm.
Oh goodness. So Clementine, how much time do you think you need in order to? You said you're right at the end, right?
Let's check my audiobook.
Mm. And
I
anyone
have.
else, if you have preferences for how long you want our next sprint to be, go ahead and throw that in the chat. We take all
Ooh,
suggestions.
it's difficult because I have like an hour and 10 minutes, but I'm listening at 2.5 speed right now because I'm reading long.
Okay. Well, so 70 divided by 2.5, right, is
Mm-hmm.
going to be what? 70 divided by 2.5 is about 28 minutes. So if we do a 30-minute sprint, we would get you right at the end. And
Yes.
then we could celebrate.
Yeah.
Woo!
We should be able to do it.
Great. And I'm not seeing any timing suggestions. So how do we feel about the 30 minutes? Is that good with you, Clementine?
Yep, that is.
Awesome. Perfect. All right, y'all. We are gonna do a 30-minute sprint. You'll see the timer on your screen momentarily. Here we go. All right. In 30 minutes, let us know how you do. Good luck. Happy reading. All the things. Hello, hello.
Hello.
So, how did you do, Clementine? Did we get to celebrate?
Yeah, I finished 1 minute before.
Yay! Woo! Success.
And I haven't done my readings for either, the mystery or this one that I just finished, right? Because I do like to sit on it a little bit, right? But it's probably gonna be either a high 4 star or 5 star. Probably
Yay!
not the full 5 star because I didn't connect to the characters completely, but I really loved the world so much. I mean, I knew I loved the world with the novellas, but like, yeah. And I would highly recommend trying the first novella in this one because it really gives you a good, if it sounds interesting to you, like the world, and you want to learn about, because it's a very good one that gives you like a very good like input into the world and the magic and all that.
Good.
Anyway, how, let's see, how successful were you in your preparation?
It was good. So I finished reading the rest of the one shot, and I think I understand all of it, which is great. I think I'm done prepping for tonight. I think my brain's a little bit tired,
Yeah.
but I yes, it's
I
it's
did find that prepping for D&D, I couldn't do it for hours on end. I had to stop at some point or it was not productive anymore. So I
yeah. No, I mean I think I could do more productive things. I just yeah, I've been taking hand notes so far, which
Mhm.
I think is fine for the first half, but then like I hit this part where it's so like the one shot text is so dense that I really just want to print it out and cut it up
Yeah.
and put it into the
Yeah, yeah.
notebook instead of writing everything down. Um, and I don't feel like doing that right now. So I'll
Yeah,
do that
that's
later.
fair.
Yeah.
I've definitely been curious about that Jane series. Yeah, so you should definitely try. It's called, I think, A Dead Gin in Cairo. I don't think that one is available online for free because I know the second one is because it's much smaller, right? So it's basically online for free. But the Adegin in Cairo, I remember having it from the library, honestly, I think.
Yeah,
Um,
I DNF'd to Dead Gin in Cairo. I don't remember why.
I
I
can definitely understand because like it's really special, it's really different, and you until the end for that novella, you really don't know where it's going, and like it's going from 0 to 100, and the last scene really gave it for me, right? I was
yeah.
intrigued but kind of lost with the world, and with the last scene, I was like, oh my god, yes.
It's
Uh,
interesting because it's so short. Like it's interesting that I even had an opportunity to
yeah.
DNF it. I guess I tried it in June of this year, which I didn't even remember that it was
Huh.
that recently. Huh.
Okay.
Interesting. How did everyone else do?
Scorpio read
Scorpio
20
20
pages.
pages.
I'm assuming of
Yay.
Archer's voice that she
I'm
said.
assuming we're not crying yet, but maybe crying soon. If anyone else made any progress on a book or on something else, let us know so that we can celebrate you.
Also, I think that was our last print. But before we leave, you can also vote if you wanted on which book I can read next since I finished.
Oh goodness.
So
I
I
am interested in
have
what you think of Gideon. I
there's
have
Gideon
mixed feelings.
or the Queens of Inislir.
All right.
I know.
Well, my humble vote would be for Gideon because I am interested in what you end up thinking
Oh, I
of
will
that.
read both of them really soon. It's just this one has 3 days before it's written at the library, right?
Oh, well, then maybe you need to make whatever logistical decision makes sense for you, Clementine.
I know.
Maria
Gideon.
also says Gideon.
Yeah.
So,
No.
and so does Scorpio. So,
I will. I will. Because I feel also like this one will take me a lot longer to read and understand and try to make sense, even if nothing makes sense, I think. That's the whole point.
yeah.
Whereas this one, I think I can reliably just read it via audio also and make a dent. And I remember also it's being easy for me to get through to get as an audiobook, there was not a long wait. So even if I have to return it, it would not be the end of the world, right?
Right.
So yes.
Do you
well,
think that you could fit? When did you say that Queens of Venice layover
3
was due
days.
for you?
3 days. I mean,
You
3
couldn't
days.
finish it.
3-day, 570-page book that is a 26-hour audiobook. No.
No, I say let the hold lapse, or let your borrowing. I would honestly just like return it early to the library, let someone else read it quick,
Well,
and then nab it back.
yeah, I think mostly I didn't because I am somehow scared that it won't be for me and I won't like it. So I will DNF it really quickly. Which is why also I got it really cheap, thrifted, right? It's not like
Yeah.
I'm going to write in my vote. Okay.
Michelle, there are no write-in candidates in this little mini election here.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you everyone for tonight. Have a good night, and
Been grand.
and
We will see you all next week.